Could you tell me why you first started looking at additive manufacturing? Everyone has a story about it, but what's your story?
Really, there was two drivers behind it. The first one was prototyping. So whenever you're designing a new product, especially, just to give you the background, but about 75% of the parts that go into any one of our machines or products are designed parts, so they can be coming from rotational molding, injection molding, turned parts, and around 25% are actually buy off the shelf. One of our machines typically will have anything between 500 to 600 different parts within the machine, so including washers and screws and stuff like that. So designing any new product can be very lengthy because you have to then go and have tooling made and you have a part made out of that tool. So typically you would have had the tool made, that might have taken 4 or 5 weeks. Then you'd have the first parts produced out of that tool. That's very expensive as a one-off. If that part's not quite right, you then got to go and modify the tool. And that can just be for a single part. When you're doing that for multiple parts, it's very expensive. And all you're wanting to do is the prototype or test that particular part or even test the concept. There's obviously software now that you can use to test the concept, but there's nothing like having a physical part to be able to test. So for us, 3D printing was a way of being able to prototype more quickly and more cost effectively. The other driving force really was to do with the whole supply chain, the amount of parts that you have to buy. So it wasn't cost driven. It wasn't about, okay, can I produce a part cheaper out of 3D printing? It was, how can I make the business more efficient? So you don't necessarily measure the cost of the part based on how much time you spend talking to a supplier, getting a price, waiting for that part to come, having to then produce thousands of them, how much you've then got sat in stock. Then you've got to have an invoice, and you've got to process the invoice, and you've got to pay it. If you added all that together, the true cost of a part isn't what you're being charged by a supplier. There's lots of other parts. So for us, 3D printing also perhaps presented an opportunity of slimming down our supply chain, putting us more in control. We're in control of the design, but we're not, as based on the business that we have, we don't do everything. So we don't do our own rotational molding and our own turn parts and our own injection molding. We have to outsource that stuff, or we own the tooling. So the more of it that you could be in control of, the easier that was, to control production. So on one side, it was the prototyping and the design, and on the other side, then was being a bit more in control of the whole process, control of the production line and the production of parts. So cost wasn't the main driver. It will be for a lot of people. For us, it was simplifying. Simplifying our supply chain, I think, is part of it and part of the business.